All right, we're live. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Y'all come on in. Come on in and share this video, this live.
Yes, come on in the room. Man, you excited tonight, DJ?
I am. I'm excited to see some familiar names. Excited for sure to talk to our guests tonight.
I was talking to Pastor the other day, just talking about like how much I actually miss, folks at the church, miss working with the ministry, with the band, man, just trying to take things for granted. So
definitely
got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yes. Welcome. Thank y'all for the likes. Make sure to share this video, start a watch party. And we're saying hello to YouTube and Facebook. Welcome. Deacon Lewis.
Okay. Y'all comment and let us know that you're here, please.
Yes, comment your name below to let us know you're in.
Let you watch.
What you been up to today?
So today, let's see, probably did what everybody did. I actually work from home today. Like I really work from home today. Watch TV. I think I've just about finished Netflix. So I guess that's good, right? Or maybe not. What about you?
Work from home. We had spring break last week. So we're today was our first day back, virtual learning, distance learning. So it was good to see the kids. Kind of missed them. Hey, Latasha's on YouTube. Miss Charlene.
Hey.
Hello. When you come in, drop your name so we can see you.
Yeah, let us know y'all watching.
I miss you, Tasha.
Yes, Tasha.
Hello.
Hello. So good to see y'all.
Yes, we're going to get started in just a few, but while y'all are waiting, go ahead and tell someone you're on. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and start a watch party with all of your friends.
I look like Siobhan is here. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Siobhan.
Miss Kim Tate, hello. How y'all doing?
Hey, Miss Tate.
I'm excited to see so many familiar faces.
I know. I'm excited about tonight, man. A different world.
Yes. We hope all of you are well. What y'all been up to? Y'all talk back to us this whole time.
I gotta listen. Yeah, we're gonna talk back and forth. Anybody did like absolutely nothing today? Like, I mean, nothing at all. It's okay. I won't tell nobody. I promise.
Probably been snacking all day like I have.
Oh, Tasha. Right. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Just a few. Oh, Miss Charlene says she's baking cakes, working in the garden, and
Miss Charlene, you had a busy day.
Put me a piece of cake in the mailbox and I'll come back.
Absolutely.
Okay, Pastor Domain's on.
Oh, Pastor is in the house. Oh, Pastor, you're too kind. God gets the glory.
Appreciate it. So, Corey, let's get started. Let's dive into this talk.
Let's do this, brother.
So as you all see, we titled this virtual chat "A Different World," and I'm sure all of us can remember that popular TV show from the '90s. On A Different World, they covered so many topics. They dove into topics that other communities or that kind of pushed the envelope. So that's why we titled this "A Different World," because that's what we want to do on this platform, especially during this time. We want to bring on people to talk about topics that are important to the Black community for sure. So we're extremely happy that you guys have decided to join us on this evening. If you're just coming back on, make sure to speak to us so we can see who you are. Go ahead and share. Corey, what was your favorite thing about the different world?
I guess just like having that HBCU experience on TV, like
Mm-hmm.
live and in color. Like we had movies, but you didn't really have
Mm-hmm.
a sitcom, a popular show. And I mean, there were many
Right.
great shows in the '90s, but A Different World was
Mm-hmm.
one of my favorites, definitely.
Right. I remember a different world. I was pretty young, but I remember it, and I remember watching the reruns over the past years. And I just remember them always pushing the envelope with the topics from relationship issues and race issues and
Yeah.
pledging, like you said, the HBCU experience. What were some of your other '90s favorite '90s shows? And y'all comment below. What were your favorite '90s TV shows?
There's so many to mention. For me, I'm gonna say Martin,
Martin.
Living Single,
Okay.
definitely. Those two. I mean, I actually still go back and watch some of the old episodes on Hulu today.
Mm-hmm.
Classics
Wow.
like the Cosby Show, and I mean
Cosby.
shows that really just taught valuable lessons.
Mm-hmm. Mine was Fresh Prince. Always loved
Oh yeah,
Fresh
that was
Prince.
another good one.
Love
Yeah,
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince.
In Living Color, I don't know if you said that one, but in Living Color.
Man, that was the show. Like the Wayans family, just brilliant minds. Definitely, yeah, definitely.
So Corey, one thing that I've been having a problem with, and I know many people can relate to this, and I feel okay about admitting it actually, but I've been obsessing over the many memes and all of the gifs and the videos, the viral videos lately.
Right.
One I posted yesterday was the Zoom meeting video where they showed the different kind of people, and they had this one person knocking on the door, and that's always the person in the meeting. It's like, oh, I don't know how to get in the room.
Right.
So what have been some of your favorite viral videos?
You know what? It's weird because we have clearly nothing but time now. I mean, so we are in this digital era, and everybody's already glued to their phones. So now it's like we're in overdrive. I would probably say like I've been liking all of the TikTok videos and some of the challenges. One of my favorites is like the Don't Rush Challenge, right? So now they've introduced like the Don't Rush Challenge for like Black educators and Black dads and families. I mean, so it's just amazing to see so much positivity. Of course, look to the news, seeing so much about COVID-19 and all that. It's like, let's kind of give some balance in our life. So, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, but I guess all of our lives are changing every day, so when you look at like how your life used to be every day and how it is now, like what would you say has changed? Like a typical days, getting up, going to work, but I mean for you, like what is that now?
Right now it's still getting up because I work at a school. It's been the transition to virtual learning with the kids. And in my position as a dean of students, that looks very funny because say they have 4 classrooms. Some kind of way I want to be able to touch each kid virtually. So with me, it's kind of more work in a way because I'm transitioning between these virtual classrooms, calling parents. But one thing that has really been a great moment is a student calling me, checking in on me before I can check in with them.
Oh no, that's
so yeah, it's very it's a cool transition, I would say. And as far as what was your second part?
No, I mean, I guess I was just asking like overall how your life has changed.
Yeah.
Like, I know for me specifically, I mean, I'm thankful that I'm able to work from home because everybody isn't able to have that luxury.
Right.
Some folks have, their income has severely suffered.
Right.
But at the same time, like, I guess the challenge for me is like, I love ministry work. So how do we do ministry work and the people are not there?
Exactly.
We can't physically connect with them. And, we love to hug and kiss and say, how you doing? And like, yeah, all that together. So now it's like, nah, let's do this virtually, So I think that's a big challenge. And just watching how people do that now. But I mean, technology is here. So, let's use it for greater good. Definitely.
It's been, I would say, challenging but fun doing ministry over the last month. I think it's been fun.
Yeah, I agree. Challenging and fun because it's rewarding. you know,
Right. Mm-hmm.
knowing that we're still able to follow our mission of connecting people to people,
Mm-hmm.
people to God. And it's
Right.
like, we're still offering salvation, right? It's the same
Mm-hmm.
product, it's just packaged differently, right? Pushing the
Exactly.
envelope, so.
Exactly. How would you say? So we talked about life and work. What would you say your experience with like your personal time, your worship has shifted during this time?
You know what? I always have to go back to this a great spiritual leader who I admire very much, Miss Pastor, Miss Pastor Christy Butler from
Uh-huh.
Mount Serene Church of Plaquemine said that
Mm-hmm.
social distancing should lead to spiritual intimacy, right? And it
That's good.
makes sense, right? I mean, you got nothing but time, so the God is like, listen, I need to hear from you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got all this time to talk to me. It's no running out. So I think for me, it has allowed me to really tune an ear into what he's saying, and just to make sure
All
that
right.
I'm on par with his vision, and that I'm hearing
Mm-hmm.
really from him. Because sometimes our vision and our hearing gets cloudy. Like we think we
Right.
hear, but we're not. So I would say
I
that.
agree.
Yeah, but I
I
mean,
agree with you.
I guess in the realm of like, you work with kids, and that's one of the things we'll talk to one of our guests about as well.
Right.
I mean, what would you say is challenging about reaching out to kids? Like, do you hear from those kids who are at home, and like, how are they coping at home? Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I know you don't want to sit in front of a computer all day and do schoolwork. So,
Right. One thing that did hit me hard was thinking about those kids their school life was their safe place, where we have to look at the different kids we serve. So we had some kids that was their meal for the day, until their parents got home late at night. But that's why I was so grateful for so many people to have they did the meals on the go and stuff like that. So that gave me some comfort. But just reaching out to them, texting them, if you in contact with older kids, texting them that text, hey, I'm thinking about you. Those have been the ways that we're still communicating with them. So yeah. What about you? I know your job requires a lot of hands-on work.
so yeah, it does. I mean, the good thing about it, I'm able to interact with people who represent thousands and thousands of people, virtually everyone over the state. So you
Mm,
get to hear all the stories, the challenges, how people are trying to push out information, and just making
right.
sure that the information that they're getting is timely, that is accurate. And so I think that has kind of been the challenge for us.
Mm,
And it's still, how do we do the people's business, right? How do we go about working and things like that? So we're trying to figure it out.
definitely.
I mean, it's not easy, but like I said,
Mm.
I'm grateful for a job, man. At this point.
Exactly. And we definitely want to say before we go any further how our hearts and our prayers are with each of you who are dealing with something. We're all dealing with something right now, but especially to those that have been diagnosed with the virus or recovering from the virus, or even one of your family members has been affected with the virus. So we want you to know that our prayers and our thoughts are with you guys.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for a little bit of social interaction. So I am missing that
Listen,
just a little bit.
I I'm just looking forward to the day somebody says, "Can I start you guys off with some appetizers?" Like, I
And
mean,
have you left one for dessert? That's what I'm
right?
thinking.
Exactly.
So we want you guys to make sure to share this with your circle. Start watch parties if you're on Facebook. Our special guest has just arrived, so we're about to bring her on in just a few. But before we bring her on, we wanted to make sure that we share that we're live. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Leave us a comment. If you just came in, go ahead and drop your name below so we can see that you're on. I see a lot of people
Not
saying they've been
subscribe.
listening to
Yeah,
Instagram.
like the Facebook page. Make sure you do that too.
Yes, Instagram, the club quarantine on Instagram. A lot of comments about that. So
Right.
a lot of. All
Teddy
right, you
Riley.
ready to bring on our guest? What you said?
I said Teddy Riley versus Babyface. Right.
That's tonight at 7, right?
Part two. Part two. Let's
Part
pray.
two. Part
Y'all. Pray for Teddy.
two. All right, so we're going to bring on our first guest, and we want you to show her some love. She is our very own. We have Minister Emily Spears. She serves as our youth minister at the Grove. She's an MAT student at Fuller Theological Seminary with an interest in international development and urban studies. Emily has served on the board of directors for Forum 35 and remains a community advocate for sustainable food systems. She led the effort to launch the first Little Free Food Pantry in Baton Rouge to help fight food insecurity in the Eden Park area. What's up, Minister Spears?
How
What's
are
going on, you
you?
guys?
How you
Very
doing?
good.
Doing good?
Very good. I'm hanging in there.
You
How are you
hanging
guys
in, huh?
doing?
We are doing good.
Hanging in, hanging
Good.
in.
Yeah, you got
Very
some people
good.
waving hi at you.
So they're saying hello to you.
They're saying hello to
They're
you.
saying
Hello,
hello,
girl. Hello, girl.
Miss Sutton, Miss Gwen.
Hello.
Cool. Emily, I know you live a busy life and during this transition of working home now, it's a different kind of work home, huh? Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in your world?
Well, definitely the memes are true, when it comes to the remote work at home. It's different, but we're making it work, you do
Yeah.
what you can, you try to find a rhythm.
Right.
But
Mhm.
yeah, the memes are true. Like you just kind of like make sure that you're staying on top of your emails and communication and trying to like further your projects. I think I really love
Uh,
that post you had of like what it's like for a Zoom call, and
I
you
just
have
talked about
all of the
that.
troubleshooting people clicking off, falling off. And you're like you're trying to get things done amid the
Right,
crisis, and so lots of prayers there. But it's we're making it work.
right. Pastor Domain said Dr. Emily, and she can
He said, look, he said,
Amen.
preach, right?
Amen.
yeah,
Because of his
yeah.
leadership and guidance, that's why. So,
Exactly. There you go. There you go. How has motherhood? How is Kat doing?
oh my goodness. So I'm so grateful because the teachers are awesome.
Mm.
Can we just give it up for the educators? We just got our amen. Because I am not a teacher in that sense.
Right.
So we got a packet today. We got online lessons. We got video links,
Okay.
and
Oh,
so it was
wow.
really good to like get her up, sit her in her dedicated learning space, and start
Mhm.
working through today's lesson and the week's lesson. So I was like, thumbs up to the educators because like we're back on track now.
Yeah, that's a job. Like as a matter of fact, I saw someone on Facebook a sign that said, "Listen, teachers, how much money I need, we're listening. Like whatever the raise is, we got you."
Whatever. If you want 50 orange trapper keepers, man, you get it. If you need a Keurig in your classroom, I'm with you.
Right.
Whatever you want to put on that supply list, I'm down.
No
And whatever
questions,
they
huh?
getting paid,
Yeah,
they deserve every dime of it.
What
definitely.
would your advice be to not only single mothers but parents in general that have gone through this transition? What's a piece of advice that you would give to them?
I think we're all having challenges. So the first thing I would say is number one, get a game plan.
Mhm.
The teachers are putting together resources. Those are rolling out in different phases. Different schools are making sure that they're following our superintendent Warren Drake's instructions. So the teachers are
Mhm.
getting out video lessons. They're getting out resources. A lot of the middle school and high school students are already learning remotely. And so the
Mhm.
primary school students are now rolling online. And so the first thing I would recommend is to make sure you have a game plan, get your schedule. But also, as many people are finding out, your learning experience is going to be different than school. This is not, you're
That's
not an EBR.
Right.
So you're going to have a level of flexibility to do some of the more creative things that parents at homeschool traditionally are experiencing. So it's okay if recess is the first thing in the morning. You know, it's
Right.
okay if you have 40 minutes of free time where you're like, we're going to color. It's time to paint.
Mhm.
Okay. While you're painting, mommy and daddy's going to have a little me time.
That's
Okay.
good.
Or like, for example, with me, I'm working remotely. So I do like a bit of a switch off. I set
Mhm.
her up and get the lesson going. Then I jump on the computer, work remotely.
Okay.
Then once she's done, I go back, check the work, set her up for the next component. Then I get back online, work remotely. And so we do this switch off during the day. And then we have recess first thing in the morning. We go outside, and that's where we do our learning in the garden. She's planting flowers
Oh, that's
and
cool.
watering them, maintaining. We're journaling as they grow and different things like that. So finding really creative resources out there. Community partners have also put things online. A lot of the extracurricular activities, such as Boys and Girls Club, Kids Orchestra, they have online lessons now as well. So please make
Okay.
sure that you parents check your email. So just a recap, definitely get a game plan.
Game
Know that
plan.
your learning style, your learning experience is going to be different than school, and that's okay. And
Hmm.
then also to take advantage of the community resources that are available.
So,
Great.
Oh,
um,
amen. Thank you for that.
indeed, she is. So, Minister Emily, you are an awesome uh, 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 leader of our student ministry at the church. And I know that when the kids are there, right, actually, you can put your hands on them and you can actually teach them and instruct them of the word when they're at church. Talk
Mhm.
about kind of how your role has changed, being that we're in this virtual world now, right? Like, how are
Right.
you reaching out to the kids now and reaching out to the students and the parents during this time? And talk about the challenges as well with that.
So this is a major shift for us in youth ministry, right? And so a lot of the seminaries that are freestanding, like Fuller Youth Institute, which is my primary resource, Princeton Youth Institute, and all of the community partners are trying to put their head together on
Hmm.
how to re-envision youth ministry as a whole. Of course, we have an upcoming virtual church conference as well to attend, and there's lots of resources. So primarily what I'm doing is offering Sunday school online. So we are
Okay.
doing online lessons, online sermon lessons. We created a youth section on the Elm Grove Baptist Church website. That's elmgrovebr.org. And then you
Hmm.
can check the youth tab. And under there are resources for high school and those resources come directly from the Fuller Youth Institute on how to deal with your teens and high school students in an anxious world. I think you will find that a lot of the students are struggling with the grief of having
Yeah.
expectations and
Yeah.
plans canceled. They miss their friends, their social circles, and they miss the options that they used to have for connectivity.
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing is just making sure that we have an online presence right now. And then also, things have not changed. We make disciples through relationship building. And so reaching out to the parents directly for the parents, it's our Remind group. We have an Elm Grove Baptist Church Youth YCM parent group. And so we have our parents connected there. We lift each other up in that group. I love to hear from the parents. They're like, we're there troopers out there. Big ups to the parents.
That's awesome.
Because I tell them all the time, we are in this together, and
Exactly.
we're doing the best that we can. And then also reaching out to the students as well. So the first phase of that has been creating this database. We have a lot of contact information that we've acquired over our time together. And so just utilizing different CRM software to make sure that we can break off into small groups and start to reach our students personally, because nothing beats relationship, right? And no matter what, you have to find ways to continue to build and foster a relationship. And so that's
Exactly.
always going to be the focus. So the challenges are, just making sure that the message is getting through and letting them know that they don't have to carry this alone.
Exactly.
A lot of the Gen Z generation is very independent. And, I think they're finding that, hey, we do need each other and we can't really carry this alone and we don't have to carry this alone. One of the last lessons that I had with the students, we talked about the joys of having therapy and having counselors, you know,
Yeah.
um, and having that third party that is removed from the situation to be
Right.
Hmm.
able to talk to them in confidentiality, and to know that, hey, I'm not in this alone. We all have challenges and we're all going to get through it together.
That's great. How can they get connected to our youth ministries for those resources?
So primarily our main hub for the youth church experience is going to be online at the Elm Grove Baptist Church website. That's
Okay.
elmgrovebr.org, and you can check the youth tab. Under there, you'll see age appropriate curriculum resources that are based off Elm Grove Baptist Church's own unique Making Divine Connections curriculum.
Hmm.
Parents can reach out and connect via our parent remind group. You text, I believe it's 81010, and you
Hmm.
text at EGBCYYAP. I know that's long. Let me say it again.
Can
It's
somebody
at,
put that in the message box for us?
please
Yeah.
help us. It's at EGBCYYAP. Of course, our geniuses on this call are going to come up with a better way to do this later. And something that's more concise. We just did that kind of on the fly. And that way they can get access to what's going on, and then also to lift each other up and encourage each other. If they have any
Mhm.
prayer requests, please, reach out on our social media platforms as well. You can follow us at EGBCYYA. Come on, geniuses, we're gonna have to fix this later. But that's on any of the social media platforms.
Yeah.
DM us. We are available in
Yes.
we have multiple resources. The teachers are available. The ministerial staff is available. Leaders are available. So please just reach out. Don't carry this burden alone.
Any final advice, or how do you want to leave the people on this evening?
I definitely want to lift them up with a word of encouragement. I
Yes.
want them to know that you guys are the first teachers of your children. So
Yeah.
you are more than capable of being able to navigate this space. It's such a beautiful time to see how your children learn, see
Hmm.
how they interact with the world. And it's so beautiful to see things through their eyes. So know that there is
Definitely.
a silver lining in this season, and that we will get through this. But let's just stay safe, stay at home, and stay safe.
Yes. All right.
Amen.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you
us
so
on
much
this
for joining us,
evening.
Emily.
We look forward to having you on
Oh,
again. Tell Kat
oh,
we
of
said
course.
hello.
Yes, tell Kat
I
we
will.
said
Thank you guys
hello.
so much. You
All
Yes.
guys are
right.
All
doing
right.
excellent work. It's a privilege. Talk to you guys
Uh,
later.
how are
All right.
you?
See you
Thanks.
later. All right.
See you later.
All right, Corey. Let's view some comments while we wait for our next guest.
Okay.
Pastor says, please make youth church a priority so that our young people will remain spiritually grounded. That's a great one.
Yes, that is a great one. I
Great
agree.
one.
I
Y'all
agree.
comment, say y'all talk to us, let someone know we're on. How y'all
Let's go
doing out there?
to and then KJ,
Hmm.
one quick question from
Okay.
some of the questions that we received on social media.
Okay.
One parent asked for some ideas on how to keep their kids busy and actually
Okay.
how to make sure they keep an interest in learning about Christ at home and not at church.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I, I think that's a great question because, as times have changed. When I was a child, you didn't have a choice.
Definitely.
You didn't ask. You were not asked. Or do you want to go to church? No, it was understood. You was going to
You got
church.
up
You
and
were going
went
to
there.
get your behind in that choir, and you were going to sing. So I think now, we let our kids be so independent at such a young age, and
Hmm.
sometimes they may or may not make the right choices. But we know what the word says about training up a child. I think I'm not a parent, so I'm not the best. I mean, I have two adorable god kids and one lovely niece. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Madeline!
Happy
Uh,
birthday.
but I think it starts at the root of the family, right? And just making sure that kids are grounded, making sure that TV, iPad, cell phone time is kept at a minimum. Even if you have to build a schedule, I believe. So.
Hmm. That was my top suggestion. Create a schedule. Kids love. They may fight you about it, but they love the schedule. They love knowing what's next. So
They
set
do.
that schedule. Yeah,
Yes.
set that schedule. Okay, our next guest has arrived, Corey. All right, we're about to welcome on Miss Ellen McKnight from the Maxine Firm. She's a nutritionist and wellness advocate. She's the principal of the Maxine Firm. The Maxine Firm is made up of a network of healthcare professionals whose primary objective is chronic disease prevention in urban and rural communities across the state of Louisiana. Welcome, Ellen.
Hey,
How you
Ellen.
doing?
How are you?
How you doing?
Good. Good. Ellen, so good to see you. So listen, we are so excited that you are here. Thanks for joining us and accepting the invitation. So listen, tell us about yourself and about the magazine firm, right? For those that don't know who Ellen McKnight is.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So my name is Ellen McKnight. I am born and bred Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Two-time graduate of the Southern University and A&M College. Go
Yes.
background in agriculture, human nutrition and dietetics at the Department of Agriculture, and then a Master's of Public Administration. And so, yeah, that's what I do all day, every day. I'm a nutrition and wellness advocate. And so I'm most passionate about preventing chronic diseases in African American, rural, and urban communities. And I work with a group of dynamic women who I have the opportunity to do that with around the state of Louisiana and across the U.S.
Wow. Okay.
That's
busy
awesome.
lady, huh? Busy lady.
Is about to die. Come on. Okay, y'all. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead. I see some more shout outs from Minister Emily. Dr. Emily is a great inspiration for our youth ministry.
She is. I agree. I agree. Yeah, she has a wonderful relationship with our children, and we are looking forward. I guess if there's any positive thing that has come from this downtime, I think it's allowed creatives to be more productive and allow great ideas to come forth and great thoughts, and then allow us to kind of put a plan of action into bringing those ideas to fruition. So if anything, I'm excited about that. To actually come back together and kind of put into place all the things that we talked about. Yeah.
Definitely. I think, Corey, one other educator that we need to get on is Dr. Angela Domain. I think we should bring her on to give us some advice.
Lee Domain, absolutely. Oh, Ella's back. Okay.
She's back.
Sorry about that. The devil.
Listen, he is a liar, right? I know.
So Ellen, I have a question. So I know someone who is having a problem with junk food.
My God.
Could you give us some advice so that I can give it to them on how not to go to the refrigerator 40 times a day?
He's asking for a friend.
Okay. Well, luckily your friend is dealing with. Hey, Miss Matthews, that's my pre-K teacher. So luckily your friend is not alone in this fight. And so if junk food is the issue, my best advice for this is the substitution method. It's my favorite method. So say for example, if they are a Cheeto type of person, okay. First step, I will ask them to switch out regular Cheetos for baked Cheetos. Just kind of get all the bad chips out of your vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just switching it out. So let's do that. So then we go on over to beverages. Yes. So if we're just gonna have to move those cold drinks, soft drinks out of the rotation in this season, unless you want to end up in the underlying category, like the underlying conditions category that's going on right now. So if cold drinks are your stronghold, we're gonna have to segue into water. We're gonna have to segue into herbal teas, like real herbal teas, like make yourself a fresh brewed teas. If it's sweet tea, we need you to dilute it like half water, half sweet tea type thing. You know what I mean? We need to switch to whole grains too. So say for example, a chip person that does Tostitos, choose the whole grain Tostitos. If you're a goldfish person, choose the whole grain goldfish. If you are, if you like Ritz crackers, saltine crackers, choose the whole grain ones. Why? Because whole grains offer you more bang for your buck, keeps you fuller longer. It helps with your glycemic index, keeps your it has a lower glycemic index. So if you're trying to stay out of diabetes land or you're pre-diabetic, it takes longer to break down your blood sugar. If you have high cholesterol, or if your people in your family have high cholesterol or heart disease, something like that, you want to use whole grains because it helps to keep your bad cholesterol down, your LDL, that's the bad cholesterol. So whole grains help with that. And then whole grains help keep you fuller longer. So if you do help us, yes. So whole grains help keep you fuller longer. I'm just saying, whole grains keep you proportion in the season as it relates to snacks. If you want candy, every now and then we want candy. Okay. If you're going to reach for the Starburst, I implore you to reach for some fruit instead of having, you might be wanting a fruity flavor. Let's just get the real fruit and put that in rotation, right? So grapes, plums, tangerines, nectarines, watermelon. I believe it's in season. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Right? Things like that. So those are some things that you can do. And there's a host of other things too. Nuts, don't get the salted kind. Get unsalted. Trader Joe's has the whole bags of unsalted, nuts, because hypertension is a silent killer, but we don't have time.
So Ellen, I mean, you are, I consider you a guru, right, on all things wellness, health, and nutrition. But so talk to us, right? So we're at home all day long, right? Can't go to the gym, some people are like, it's so how can we stay healthy and really like maintain an active lifestyle?
Right. So, I mean, I call these things like, I call them pimp decisions. And so you're going to have to make the pimp decision to move. So what I'm saying is you're going to have to make the hard decision, the tough decision to put your health at the forefront, right? Because obviously no one else is. So we're seeing now more than ever that some folks don't care about your health. Some folks don't care about you dying. And so you have to make the decision that I care about my health, even if no one else does, even if the people in leadership don't care, even if, the healthcare system doesn't care as much about my health, right? So say, for example, there are some folks that have who have never walked before, but now they are walking every morning, right? Because a lot of times we'll say, I'm here, I'm over here, I'm over there. Corey's on the Capitol. Keldrick, he's, videotaping and, producing the people all around the world. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the time. But now that we do have the time, let's make the time and make a schedule like the children. And I've committed to walk I've committed to walk in the evening. There have been more free virtual workouts on Facebook and streaming everywhere. You used to have to pay for these things. Now they're free. Jig aerobics has 3 classes a day. There's a morning, noon, and an evening class. Okay. So if you're trying to get lit while you get fit, go to Jig Aerobics. They have free classes. I'm serious. You can definitely do if your local trainer or like people who did the class at the YMCA. A lot of those people, they have Instagram pages. They're like passing out workout plans and workout logs and things like that. Things that you can do in your bed. Things that you can do while you're on the floor. Things that you can do to use your own body weight. You don't even have to have equipment. So at the very least, walk. Okay.
I like that, and I like how you said like setting a schedule, because to me, like when you actually set a schedule, it's a mind to keep to it. Like, because there are things I don't really feel like doing, but if I tell Siri to like remind me, I'm like, oh, let me do it. Because sometimes we just make excuses like, oh, I'll go walk, and Sonora says YouTube does have some good walking, and I know what's the bike now you can buy with Peloton that has all the beautiful views. Like I was on one bike. My friend has a bike. I didn't want to get off. I'm like, man, I want to see what's next. But yeah, just walk. I even find that now, like it could be me, but in the daytime it's more beautiful. And maybe I just haven't paid attention and stopped to actually appreciate it. But it's just like I was outside today. I'm like, man, this is
gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yeah,
beautiful day.
Here. And in the evening it's great too because it's really, really calm. And then if you don't want to do like a full out workout, everybody, we're from Louisiana, y'all love a line dance. If y'all don't put a line dance on and do that a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? And not stop in between, because we stop in between, go sit down
and come back. Huh?
Right. Tune into like a live concert, because there's so many live concerts going on. Like, just dance, just move. I guess that's the point. Yeah.
DJ Marquis has a live concert. I tuned into the Mike Foster project live concert and started sweating because I dance anyway in public, and so I was in
So Ellen, so everything, when we are able to do more during our daytime activities, what advice would you give the people during that transition back to not let go of being so active? What would you tell the people?
To not let go of being so active. So I will say that healthy eating is my forte, and being active is not. It's my mental forte. Is that right, Corey?
Yes.
My mental forte. So I find what's been helping me stay active in this COVID season is, hey, Pastor Domain, in this COVID season is having an accountability partner. And so but my accountability partner helps me do these walks in the evening, right? It helps me do this because I'm shamed. I'm shamed because they're like, let's go walk. And I'm just like, All right, because you don't want to be that guy.
That's true.
And so it works for me. I mean, I think accountability partners help with so many different things. Things like healthy eating, working out, even budgeting. People tell you to have somebody with you to help you through it. So when you're weak, they're strong, and vice versa. So I think an accountability partner as it relates to your physical activity and your nutrition will help you, because Corey's ready to go out to eat. If Corey has an accountability partner on the journey after COVID, we're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna get the ahi tuna as appetizer and not fried pickles. Amen.
Right.
Right.
Amen.
Corey's bougie. You like ahi tuna? Sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about, but no. But I have noticed, because even when I've started to do or go on a journey of eating and maintaining a better lifestyle, it helps if I have one person to say, listen, what you ate, send me a picture of what you eating. It's like, oh Lord, so it keeps you in the mindset of, listen, I'm accountable to somebody, and I would do the same thing for that person as well. So.
And Emcrow is a healthy church. They have a healthy healthcare ministry over there. They have a lot of members there that have health at the forefront. You guys take blood pressures and do.
Shout out to the Abundant Living Ministry. Yes.
Yeah. So they're doing the RN that's over his sister
Keisha.
That's right.
Shout out to Keisha. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Sister Keisha Moore.
Yeah, every third Thursday is called Know Your Numbers Thursday. And that's when they do the blood pressure testing and other
they check for blood sugar too.
Blood sugar, yeah.
Yes, that's paramount. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, and that talks about chronic diseases, especially now, because we're finding that COVID-19 is affecting the African American community disproportionately. So of course there are conspiracy theorists out there and all this other stuff, but I mean, it's like, can you really talk to the Ellen as to how important it is that we work toward moving ourselves out of that category of having chronic illnesses and diseases, and so we aid our body in fighting even normal viruses and diseases?
Absolutely. So chronic diseases or underlying conditions, those are things that we've heard them all. We hear them all the time now, but those things are like heart disease, hypertension, high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, things like that. Guess what? Those things are preventable. And moreover, specifically for our group of people, and like y'all's pastors say, the folks says space has been kissed by the African sun. Folks that look like you and I, we cannot allow ourselves to be played like we are. Okay, these things are preventable. Healthcare industries, pharmaceutical companies, the healthcare system would crash if we would get it together.
Yeah.
If we would get it together, we have to stop letting people make money off of us, off of our sickness. You see what I'm saying? And so things like hypertension that leads to heart attack, that's all preventable by doing small things like flipping the label, right? The American Heart Association recommends that we only consume 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day. So what does that mean? Let's start monitoring our sodium so we don't have to go down the heart disease route, right? What does that mean for type 2 diabetes? Type 2 diabetes, we don't have to have type 2 diabetes, but my friend, her name is, oh my God, Ms. Nettie Johnson. I work with her with NIH and the National Baptist Convention. We are the only group of people who give chronic diseases pet names. We call it the sugar. That's not cute. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or we feel like, well, girl, I got it. It's almost it's no longer the exception. It's almost like we expect to get chronic diseases. If someone dies of a heart attack, no one's like, oh my God, a heart attack. That's what we do. That's how we get out. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to change the culture of health in our community. So we have to have conversations for family gatherings. Is there a vegetable here? Huh? You know what I'm saying? We have
a ton of grease and
right. You know what I'm saying? Even so, we go to these funerals of our family members. Uncle Joe has died of a heart attack, but at his repast, we are serving heart attack food. My God, today. You know what I'm saying? Grandma was found in a diabetic coma, but we have 75 different kind of pound cakes here at the repast. But changing the culture of health, making small changes throughout the day, infusing them in our worship experiences, family and friends, so on and so forth. And then, learning more about it. You don't know if you don't know.
Mm-hmm. Ellen, we would love to get some questions from social media.
Okay, then.
So if y'all have any questions, drop them in the comment box so we can ask the professional. Corey, do you have any from yesterday?
I do. I'm looking at one, and I guess we kind of covered it. It's kind of funny though. I want to say it. Let's see, find it. It says, how can we help ourselves not go to the fridge 40 times a day?
Well, a schedule, and what we're really like, we do better when we plan to do better. And this is something that I preach it, but I have not done it in this season. But making a grocery store list for the week, we're only supposed to be going to the grocery store once a week anyway. Making a grocery store list based on what we're going to eat that week. Say for so kind of like at school, we had that school menu thing that we had, right? We knew what we were eating. If you were in the EBR, you knew you were eating red beans on Monday, spaghetti on Tuesday. We had loaf and mashed potatoes on the Wednesday, maybe chicken nuggets were coming, and then Friday we're eating what? Pizza. All right, now
pizza, right.
But we can use those same principles of planning and make healthier decisions. For example, if you know that you can do red beans better than anybody else on the planet, that's wonderful. We can just use the same substitution method, right? So if we're doing red beans, and so cooking real meals and not eating foods that have more empty calories, that's going to make you go to the refrigerator more often than not. So if you do red beans, make sure that you do a whole grain. So do a brown rice or a wild rice. Or quinoa or cauliflower rice, something like that. That's gonna keep you fuller longer. If you're gonna do red beans, choose turkey sauces. It's lower in sodium, right? And then also use the Trinity. Use a lot of the Trinity. So like that's if you're not from Louisiana, there's onion, bell pepper, and celery, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So use a lot of that in your crock pot, right? Turkey. You're not from
Ellen doesn't really cook.
I don't cook, Ellen. I don't. That's too much.
That's all right. But if you are cooking, we talked about how do we not go to the refrigerator so many times a day. Like you really have to plan it out. This is what I'm going to be eating for these 7 days. Go to the grocery store and buy those things, and make sure you infuse with healthy snacks. So 3 meals a day and about 2 to 3 snacks a day, and that's like 6 times.
Cool. I do have one question.
Yes, sir.
What would you suggest for keeping kids? I'm sorry. What would be your suggestion for keeping kids snacking in check and on target? So kids snacking, how to keep that in check and on target.
Okay, so here's the thing: we are stuck on the inside, and so in a perfect world, in a not confined world, I would say just kind of keep a life with that, kind of infuse it with activities. Yes, the schedule, yes, activities. But at this stage, I would encourage you to change the kind of snacks. Change the kind of snacks. So instead of candy, what did we say? We said fruit, right?
Fruit, right, yeah.
Instead of bag chips, we said what kind?
Baked,
okay? Instead of cold drinks and sodas, what do we say? We said water. We said herbal teas. Things like that. 100% juice. Okay, It's Tang juice, Keldrick.
Got it.
It's Tang juice.
No, Tang is not juice.
I don't know.
It's fruit punch juice.
Yeah.
It's fruit punch juice. No. So what am I saying? Like I don't want those kind of things to kind of slip under the radar, and we think that we're doing something because we're not.
Right.
So you want to say 100% juice, water, herbal teas, and things.
Water. And also, how good is the infused water?
Oh, that's cool. Like you're infusing your own. Wait. The water.
Infusing your own water.
Oh yeah, that's cool. You gotta watch the water that's already infused because you want to try to consume things in its most natural state. So the closer you can consume things the way God made it is your best bet. You know what I'm saying? If God made it, then it went to the factory, then it was packaged, then it was stored, then it was shipped here. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, infused water. It's good. Just wash it off with water and a little bit of vinegar to get all the pesticides and stuff like that off of it. And you can put it in your water like that. Yeah.
So Ellen, tell us what type of nutritional programs or offerings or teachings that the Maxine firm offers.
Hey, Dr. Jackson. So we promote balanced nutrition. Okay, so when we say balanced nutrition, we are promoting USDA's My Plate. And so with USDA, are y'all familiar with USDA's My Plate? Yes. Those who aren't, USDA's My Plate pretty much promotes balance. So it's not like keto diet. It's not like any fad diets. We do not agree with any of that. None of it, especially keto. But yeah, so that is My Plate. So that is like grains, proteins, dairy, fruit, and vegetables. And it's different colors on the plate, and it promotes a variety, so you can get a variety of nutrients and things like that. In terms of offerings, we have seminars and events across the state of Louisiana. We're on lockdown right now. So a lot of things that I've been doing and the other members have been doing are things like this right here virtually, and putting together programming that will amp up chronic disease prevention efforts in Black and Brown communities once outside opens back up. So it's individual. So say for example, if you have like a chronic disease currently and you want to speak to a registered dietitian, you can set up a counsel session. We'll pay you a registered dietitian. You can talk to the registered dietitian about that, and they can do a one-on-one session with you. So that's what you can do one-on-one.
Okay. Can you tell us what's coming up with the Maxine firm?
Yes, we are actually partnering with Mayor Sharon Weston Broome, and for Wellness Wednesdays. So Wellness Wednesdays, we did this last year, but we're doing it again this year. It's going to be an 8-week series of different activities that you can do in your home virtually, different topics. So we're going to have the hip hop doc on there talking about chronic diseases and underlying conditions. We're going to have a mental health specialist, but she's actually a psychiatrist. Her name is Dr. Claire Bradley, a psychiatrist. She went to medical school. Then also Mitchell Provençal of Baton Roots. He's going to get on and show you how to grow from your own home, grow fruit and vegetables, plants, things of that nature. So that's what's going on in partnership with Go Get Healthy in the mayor's office.
Okay. How can people connect with you?
Okay, so you can visit our website at www.themaxingfirm.com. You can also follow us on Instagram. That's just Maxing Firm, or Twitter, Maxing Firm. We're on Facebook, Maxing Firm. All the way.
Gotcha. We definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing such great knowledge and information with us. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It has been.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. No makeup and all.
Definitely tag us in those posts so that we can share it with our members in the community.
Definitely. Well, thank you.
All right, nice talking to you.
All right, take care.
See you later.
All right, bye-bye.
That was cool. That was a fun conversation.
Helping us live a better lifestyle, man.
Yes. There's some great things going on in our comments still. Y'all make sure to share this post. Start watch parties if you're on Facebook. You see all of the people on YouTube. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Someone said they already pulled up her website for more information.
Awesome.
Yes.
Somebody said no such thing as a diet anymore. It's a lifestyle change. It is a lifestyle change.
That's good, Mr. Eddie. I'm going to put that one up for the rest of the people to see.
Definitely.
No such thing as a diet anymore. It's a lifestyle change with so much.
All right.
Corey, we have our next guest.
Okay, awesome. So this next guest is a dear friend of mine. I have the pleasure of working with him in the legislature. It is Representative Royce Duplessis from the New Orleans area. He represents District 93 of the House, and grew up in New Orleans, graduate of Xavier University and Howard Law School. And he currently serves on the House Commerce Committee, the Executive Committee, as well as the Select Leadership Committee, and he is vice chair of the very prestigious and important House and Governmental Affairs Committee. My brother, my friend.
Welcome.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for having me. Please confirm that you hear me properly, because I had a little trouble signing in, but I just make sure that y'all can all hear me good.
Okay, yeah, I think we're okay.
You're
KJ?
good now.
Okay.
All right,
good.
good. All right, good.
All
All right. It's so good to be here. Thank y'all so much for having me on. Thank y'all.
Absolutely. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And I know when I talked to him, there was no hesitation. He was like, yeah, man, whatever you need. I know we missing the important part too of Teddy Riley versus Babyface, but it's probably over already anyway. So I'm joking, man. I love Teddy Riley. So anyway, Mr.
I think they were having tech.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Second.
So listen, tell the people about yourself and also tell them what it is that you do.
Sure. Well, as you already pointed out, I serve as state representative for District 93, which is I like to describe as the innermost part of New Orleans. So it's usually the places that people visit when they come to New Orleans. I have all of the Central Business District, Tremé, Lower Mid City, part of the Lower Garden District, and Central City. So I have the honor and privilege of serving in the state legislature, where I get to work with fine, wonderful people like Corey, who you're just a true professional. I love that you are there providing us with the support that we need to get our message out to the constituents. I serve on multiple committees, as you've pointed out, but essentially I just try to use this position that I'm in to try to elevate the voices of those who otherwise would have no voice. I want to focus my work on those who are less vulnerable, the people in my community who can't afford to pay a lobbyist to go sit up at the Capitol all day to advance their interests. Those are the people who I want to advocate on behalf of to see a more equitable community. That's the reason I chose to enter into public service, particularly elected office. So I'd like to say that equity is the focal point of my reason for wanting to be involved in public service. So.
And you bring up a good point. I always tell you that I believe you are a true statesman, but you said a word that kind of leads me to my next point: equity. In terms of the census, right? Everybody hears this word, the census, that comes around every 10 years, and the reality is, right? Some people just see it as this jarring thing to do. Somebody like, man, why is somebody knocking on my door? Why is this so important? So I just thought it'd be great for you to kind of break this down for us, to put it on a level we can understand, to let the people know, listen, how important this is that you are counted in this thing.
Absolutely. Well, the census, we hear a lot about it, but I think a lot of times we don't truly understand the importance of the census. I was just speaking about what I view as my role of being at the state legislature. Well, it's the census that determines how many voices we get when representatives. So essentially, the U.S. Constitution requires that every 10 years that there be what's called the count to try to get the best capture of that is for the allocation of resources. So you could take the number around roughly $800 billion will be sent from the federal government down to the states and to be distributed amongst localities. But those dollars are distributed based upon the number of people who respond to that census. So the number of people who respond to the census literally has a direct impact on the resources that come back to that community. On average, the per person, for each person that does not complete the census or is not counted, that's roughly $2,200 that's not going to a particular community. And dollars being allocated for schools, roads, bridges, hospitals, parks, recreation, water systems. All of these dollars are largely driven by the population, and that population is captured by the U.S. Going a step further, the number of representatives that a particular location has. For example, after Hurricane Katrina, we lost a lot of people in New Orleans, particular, and that was in 2005. Then for the 2010 census, as a result, because our numbers had dropped, we lost representation, meaning that certain seats that were in New Orleans, House and Senate, were moved to other parts of the state. So essentially we lost voices. So that is also all tied to that we need and that we have the representation that we need. And all of that's driven every 10 years when the count is done.
Okay, absolutely. So,
so it's very important.
Does the census affect funding, like services offered for special needs, Head Start, after school programs, and things like that?
Absolutely. It affects all of that. And I'm glad you pointed that out, because it's directly tied to funding for all the programs you just named and more.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people really don't understand that. I see it as a way of, making sure that we fairly distribute each person's voting power as well, which leads me to my next question. And I'll come back to actually how we fill out the census for those who haven't done it. But talk about how the census affects redistricting and that process, and kind of your role in that with the House and Governmental Affairs Committee. Because I know previously the state had to go through pre-clearance through the Justice Department, which basically meant that the Justice Department had to say, listen, when you draw these lines and determine who's going to represent who or what district you'll be in, that we have to clear this. We have to say this is fair, this is equitable, this is okay. But from my understanding now, we are no longer required to have pre-clearance.
Right, and you kind of I lost you for a little bit on the last part of your statement, but I heard you up until the point around last go round. We had to have federal pre-clearance by the Department of Justice. That no longer is the case because the U.S. Supreme Court effectively gutted the Voting Rights Act, which put that pre-clearance step in place back in 1965. So essentially now we don't have the same protection that we once had, and this is for the first time since the Voting Rights Act passed. And what that means is there were certain states in the South in particular that were deemed, based upon history, what we all know through voter suppression and other measures to keep people from exercising their rights to vote, that anytime a change was made around districting or various ballot initiatives, that it had to get approval from the United States Department of Justice. That is no longer in place. So essentially the maps that we draw, which is driven by redistricting, it's driven by the census numbers, are likely going to be, they could end up in litigation, but it doesn't go through steps. So in terms of the role that I play, going to go the census, which ends on October 31st. So if you haven't done your census, obviously we want not only you to complete it, but encourage your family members, encourage your church members, your community members, your work colleagues to all complete the census, because it's crucial. We have until October 31st, and it takes about 10 minutes.
How can we do that?
But once you can do it via mail. Everyone should have received one in the mail. If you have not received it in the mail, you do it online. That's the way that my household completed it, that we are encouraged to do it. But you can do it either through mail or online, and it really doesn't take more than 10 minutes. It really takes less than that.
Okay. Yeah, I think
once the census is completed, back into legislative session next year. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. And I'll be brief, just describing the redistricting process. The House and Governmental Affairs Committee, which I serve as vice chair, we will meet in 2021 to look at the census, to look at where the population trends are, who has gained population, who has lost population, and we're going to redraw the district maps. On the House side, we are constitutionally required to have 105. The Senate side, we're constitutionally required to have 39 senators. So that means that population has to be divided amongst those various senators and representatives. So that means that if your community, if you're a region or your area if their numbers aren't up, then they're likely going to lose. And those whose numbers are up are likely going to gain. And that's how the maps should be drawn. Unfortunately, we know all about gerrymandering, and I have to just make this quick point, and I'll wrap up my comments and allow y'all to ask me another question. But I really think that gerrymandering is at the heart of why our country cannot move forward right now, why we have such gridlock. Because when politicians draw maps where they're choosing their voters, they're essentially drawing maps around people with monolithic views that share the same thought patterns and ways of thinking, so they don't have to have a diversity of opinion. But why we have such division in this nation, whereas if politicians had to appeal to various diverse views, and you wouldn't see people so locked into their positions and unwilling to move along. So if we don't draw fair maps, then we're going to continue to see people disenfranchised. We're going to continue to see a government that doesn't work. So it's really, redistricting is probably the most important thing that we're going to do this term. And that's all driven by the census.
Wow. Another hot topic, and this question just came up in our social media, Louisiana presidential primary, voting and why.
The Louisiana presidential primary, presidential primary and why? What was the question? Because I went out a little bit. I'm sorry.
Can you speak a little bit about the presidential primary in Louisiana?
Just briefly. As you all know, due to the pandemic, the date has again been pushed back. It was originally supposed to be held on April 4th. It was then pushed back to June. Now it's going to be held on July 11th. So for the presidential preference primary, if you're a registered Democrat, you have an opportunity to go and vote for your preferred presidential candidate. So it won't be an issue where Democrats to vote for Republicans. We're
losing you a little bit.
To go preference. So that's what's on July 11th. And then from there, we will have the actual election in November. But we have some things that are going on right now where the Secretary of State is trying to put together an emergency plan to give people the opportunity to actually vote while there's a pandemic. And people are afraid to go to the polls. So we should be having another committee meeting on Wednesday where the Secretary of State presents a plan that's going to give people more of a chance to vote by mail come July.
Okay.
Serious.
And that's true, because I think many people forget that there is an avenue where you can vote absentee, right? And you just don't have to wait. I think more and more people are now realizing, listen, early voting is not just, for a certain group of people. It's available to everyone. And I think it's just best to go ahead and do it, because you don't know what may or may not happen on the actual election day.
Yes.
So it's best to go ahead and do it now.
That's right.
And I'm glad that
that's right.
We're talking about the census, because I think in 2010, there were like maybe more than 1 million kids who were not even accounted for, right? And that's just kids.
That's correct.
Adults. And that's
correct.
That lessens the amount of funding that we can actually get for certain programs.
No, it was actually about 2.2 million children nationally, Corey, and it was the number's pretty high. I'm looking at some statistics right now. About 3.7 million African Americans were not counted in 2010. In East Baton Rouge Parish, nearly half completed. About the same for Shreveport, and a pretty significant number in New Orleans. This is crucial that people complete the census. It is, because when people go uncounted, those resources don't follow.
Wow. Absolutely. Definitely. So listen, as far as the legislative session, what do you think is going to happen in terms of us being able to come back? Do you think we're going to have a special? Do you think the state budget will be affected with oil prices and all that good stuff? What do you think we are now? Or is it too early to tell?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we are some tough times right now, certainly as a state, but also as a country. And there is a lot of uncertainty. There's uncertainty at every household throughout the state, and there's certainly uncertainty up at the state capitol. I'll be honest. When I talk to leadership, there is obviously a urge and desire for us to get back to work as soon as possible. And when I say get back to work, that doesn't mean that we haven't been working, because we've been working around the clock. We just haven't been in the building, unfortunately. But listen, where I live, in New Orleans, I'm practically at ground zero for some of the worst numbers. And even though we're seeing some positive trends, we're still not where we need to be in terms of getting back to work immediately. So there's a lot of discord right now amongst various members in terms of when we should go back and how we should go back. I'm concerned not just about myself, but I'm concerned about staff members like Corey. I think many of our staff are going to be afraid, and I don't know how you can be effective or have an effective work where we can all be productive when people are coming of the legislature, of the House, to actually pass away from this virus. So it's a very real thing. And then we also had another our good friend, Representative Ted James, who nearly lost his life. I mean, he really, this is a real thing, and we actually just had a conference call about. So people in positions like mine don't like to admit when they just don't know what's going to happen next. But unfortunately, there is just a lot of uncertainty. But I can say that the budget will be affected. And we're coming into this session with thinking we were having about a $500 million surplus. We'll probably have a projected shortfall in the opposite direction of roughly 500 to 700 million from what I'm hearing. So that's going to be critical. I think when we ultimately do go back in, we're probably just going to pass a tight budget and then set ourselves up for a special session down the road, either later this summer or early in the fall, to try to deal with some of the other issues around criminal justice and education and everything else that needs our attention. But there's still a lot of uncertainty in terms of when we're actually going to go back.
Absolutely.
We have a Facebook question for you, and then we don't want to keep you too long, so we'll ask this one, and then we'll do final remarks. All right, what are we doing differently this year to be sure we get a better number of participants to complete the census?
She says this year, I guess, in comparison to when we did it in 2010.
I guess this decade,
yeah. So with that's a great question. When I think back to 2010, obviously we had social media, but I don't realize it on the level that we're using it now. I don't think Instagram was even a thing in 2010. Facebook certainly was, as was Twitter. So I'm speaking to social media because it's just it's really the way we live and the way we communicate now. So I know that is being utilized heavily. In terms of what's being done differently outside of that, I think that the campaigns that are being implemented and how we're communicating the importance of the census. I think you're seeing a lot of similar messages, but I think you're also seeing more young people get engaged, more people of different communities who may have traditionally not been as knowledgeable or as involved about the census. I think you just see a broader effort. And unfortunately, because we have this pandemic, I think that is taking most of but we got to reemphasize and just stress to everyone why the census is important. So you see some methods employed, but you also see, I think, new school being leadership.
Absolutely.
But we're still behind. Let me just point that out, that the numbers low. We're still, I think the last time I checked, we were like 44% response rate, and that's not going to cut it. We got to do better.
And just to point out, so those of you who are watching, before we let you go to my census2020.gov, mycensus2020.gov, and like the representative said, it takes a matter of a few minutes. I think one person can complete it for everyone in the household. Is that right?
That's correct. I did it for my entire it's only three of us, my wife and my toddler. but you're going to feel good after you do it. You know, it's a great civic duty. I think we all have a responsibility to do it. It really takes less than 10 minutes, and one person can do it for the entire household.
Absolutely. Well, listen, my brother and my friend, and most of all, my esteemed colleague, thank you so much for accepting our invitation in this virtual avenue, right? To really bring awareness to the things that we need to be taking care of, even though we're not meeting physically, what we could be doing to better ourselves and being productive in this time. So thank you so much. Hope to see you soon when it's safe. And I'm grateful that you and your family are doing well, and see if you can check out that Teddy Riley versus Babyface concert going on. But thanks again.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see how that's turned. And now, look, I just want to say thank you, Corey. I thank you for your. I thank you for your friendship, and it's just a great honor to be able to call you a colleague. I know that Elm Grove knows how special you are, so thank you, Keldrick. It's great to meet you virtually. I look forward to meeting you in person one day, and I just want y'all to know how much I appreciate you all just for putting this venue together to get information out to your church members, because it's so important. So hats off to you all for your leadership, for your dedication, for your service. I'm standing here with you all. If y'all ever need me, I'm just a phone call or a text away. Corey knows he can hit me up any time of night, and I'm here for y'all. And thank y'all truly, and God bless y'all.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. God bless you too.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Yeah, some valuable information. I tell you,
that was good.
Yeah, just how important it is, right? Because I think those who it could possibly affect the most, sometimes may or not. We get busy with everyday life and we say, oh, we'll do it. But I think the thing is to do it now. Just stop and do it now. I mean, it's a matter of a few minutes, and everybody does their part. Then we'll be okay.
And we dropped that website in the comment section, mycensus2020.gov. Mycensus2020.gov, one word. So do that now. We have plenty of time. Do it now.
And listen, give us feedback. We appreciate you guys commenting. If there's someone that you want us to talk to that you think we should talk to, there's a certain that we should tackle, let us know.
Yes.
Yeah, we hope to continue this and to build it, because like I said, we have to do our job to still connect people and to still carry out our mission, so thank you for your
definitely.
Yeah. And shout out to Pastor Domain for his support as well.
Yes. Hi, Crystal. How you doing? Tell the kids hello. Tell husband hello as well.
Hey.
So did y'all enjoy tonight's session? Did y'all enjoy A Different World? Yes. Should we do it again?
I think you should sing the song. I think you should sing the song, Keldrick.
I won't. Hey, I want to give y'all a shout out for your presentation on Sunday. Total praise. That was awesome.
Listen, it took a lot of hours, as you know, but it turned out beautifully. Shout out to Mr. David as well, Mr. Tina Rogers, and Miss Michelle Dunbar.
And Major Goldman.
Mr. Major Goldman, who is our own keyboardist at Elm Grove.
Yes.
Who really helped to put this together, right? It's all about, listen, like I said, worship doesn't stop. We got to get it in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess we have to give a shout out to the best pastors on this side, right? Pastor Domain and Dr. Domain.
That's right. Both.
Yeah. Powerful word. Absolutely. All right. So y'all don't forget to share. I see some names, some suggestions for some future guests. We definitely want to get Dr. Domain on here to share some educational news, what's going on in the educational world, and so much more. So y'all continue to give us feedback. Y'all let us know how much you loved it, how much you liked it. Share this video, like this video. I see somebody else saying service was awesome. That's my mother. Hello. I see some praise team members too.
Barbara Green, she is great. Yeah. She's a great panelist as well.
Corey, Doc is saying you should sing it.
See, okay, all right. Good night, y'all.
I think the message was for me, but I'm giving it to you.
You know what it was? You slid that
I
in.
was too young. I was too young. I don't remember. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Connect with us on all social media platforms. We hope to see you Wednesday night at 7 p.m. for Smart Church, and then Sunday for worship experience at 9 o'clock on
9 a.m.
9 a.m. YouTube and Instagram. All right, we have a lot of more exciting news coming this week, so y'all check this page out. Pastor Domain is working on something special for you guys as well, so y'all stay connected with us. All right.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Take care.